Alright, patch. I mean, there's so many changes, holy moly. Is there anything new that I'm seeing here? I don't know. Holy moly, like look at the amount of changes. This is probably the biggest patch. It's happening because of Worlds. I'm happy. Ready check go. We're bringing updated Q dodge and ready check penalties live to all Riot region servers. Okay, so basically, okay, that's good. With patch 14.18, we have some changes coming to league transfers that no see. Only accounts transfer will only have a 90-day cooldown. Okay. Better protect accounts with astronomically high amounts of RP from malicious behaviors. Transfers of these accounts must not undergo a player support review. Okay. Clash. We're aware of Clash issues that happen in some regions on the weekend. Players typically were not charged for Clash tickets and we are working on manually granting rewards based on games that player won. We apologize. XD. Cool. Champions Ahri. Okay, Ahri buffing through 40 damage based on E, 15% AP ratio. TLDR, Ahri is gonna be really good. Malignance, Horizon Focus, Creep Bloom, Rabadon, Bass Build, Ahri, Precision, Bass Runes, especially in competitive. Electric is also fine in solo queue. And you're gonna want to max E second, 100%. So Ahri max order will change from W second to E second. Aurora, another nerf. Okay, here we go. Maximum jump distance down, wall jump forgiveness down, duration down. So it's gonna be much harder for Aurora to like go ultimate at level 6 and then like go into the portal, combo someone, go out of the portal. The duration is gonna be way too small. Maybe at level 16 you'll be able to do it, but I think level 6 and 11 is almost impossible with this small duration. Also, she won't be able to go over the walls anymore with this ultimate. So she's gonna be more reliant on like using W for like setting up ults. So Zir's getting a basically okay. So Zir's getting a nerf early game especially, but also late game, right? So if you look at the number, this number stays the same, but then this number, I think scales on level based on level is worse, right? So he's getting less damage on W per rank, per level, basically. Per level, no, not per rank, per level. And then here, he also, per rank, loses AP ratio. At level 9, this ability will be the same. So he's still going to be maxing W first, and at level 9, the AP ratio is going to be the same. So the only difference is going to be this number there. But it's still a late game nerf, but mostly an early game nerf. I fully expect Azir to be one of the worst champions pre-level 9 in the game. Like, genuinely. Like, the first 6 levels of laning phase, I truly think Azir might just be the worst champion in the game with this change. I mean, together with, like, Kassadin and, I don't know, Aurelion Sol maybe, or Kale or something, I don't know. He's gonna be so bad. I mean, this ability will do no damage. Like, his autos will not hurt at all. Level 9 onwards, he's going to be roughly similar though. Corki, another pro nerf. 20 damage of Q, the already nerfed Q cooldown last time, and the nerf Q mana cost, I think. Or something like that. Our Missile Barrage is also, I mean, yeah, losing 20 and 40 damage rank 2-3. I mean, and 10% bonus AD ratio. Yeah, pro Persecute, Corki nerfs, losing a lot of damage. This champ is not going to be played at Worlds, 100%. Guaranteed. Nar getting a buff because Fleet is pretty nerfed, 3 base AD. I think it impacts base form and mega form. And mega form already has one of the highest base ADs as a champion, so not bad. Then phase buff for Nar. I feel like so many Nar players just play like Dawn Shield and Fleet and they just like chill there. Probably you're gonna be taking PTA now, I would assume. Maybe you still go Fleet, I don't know. I don't think like maybe Conquer. Conquer is also not too bad on Nar. Quay is gonna get a better WW, shield shanked on allies, doesn't really matter. This buff doesn't do much. This like buffs mid lane Hwei a bit, support Hwei is way too bad to be meta. Ivern, 10 shield of E, we have 5% less slow on E, still very good champion, doesn't really matter. These numbers are very small. You don't overkill the shield in most cases anyway. Jarvan, the 4th, in my opinion, is probably going to be the best jungler in the game with this buff. Like 1% damage on passive is a massive buff on the champion. I think he's already good. I think people are sleeping on him. I think when it comes to like runes, items, and everything the champion uses is good. I think this champion is really good when also enemies are immobile. He also has good pairings. Like for example, Jarvan Misfortune is a really good pairing. Jarvan Ziggs is a really good pairing because he locks in and then Ziggs bumps and Misfortune ult is really good pairing with this champion. There's a lot of like good pairings with Jarvan, and yeah, in general I think this champion is just going to be probably the best jungler in the game. Pros are going to probably realize it. Also, like this also makes it so like it's better to pick Ahri in the meta because Ahri can at least have counterplay to his ult, right? And Ahri's getting buffed. So here's the Jax buff that we didn't know what it was. So base armor granted goes 10 up by every rank, okay. Base magic resist granted goes 6 up by every rank, okay. On hit magic damage goes up 10 at every rank, And armor per additional champion hit also goes up by 5. I mean, honestly, this looks like pretty good amounts of stuff on Jaxar. Like, yeah, I mean, Jaxar is a pretty low cooldown ability. And what feels weird about this ability is that a lot of times Jax players just jump on you and use it and just like to win a trade. They don't necessarily use it to like all in a fight. They just use it for like some extra damage in a trade and then they disengage. I think this is mainly a much bigger buff at, I would say, level 11 onwards, because then you're entering teamfight moding. And this is probably a pretty good pro buff, because Jax will mostly teamfighting pro, in my opinion. I guess Beam buff, right? Is Beam at Worlds? I think he is. J is 5% slow on Q, and bonus move speed on E also 5% up. Honestly, very, very small buffs. Like, this doesn't really do anything. Jinx, 0.4% attack speed growth. Okay, sure. Little bit of a Jinx buff. Gonna be a little bit of win rate up. I think Jinx suffers from the fact that her items got really nerfed. Kind of like a lot of other ADCs. Like Kraken, Shiv got a lot worse, right? So a lot of people are swapping to like Lethality Jinx now, playing with W and ults and stuff like that. But it's an okay buff. But I don't think we're gonna see Jinx much in pro. I doubt it. I just think she's not really there, stats-wise. 4 armor over Lona, nice. I guess maybe pros are going to consider Rel over Lona, and maybe they're going to consider Nautilus over Lona. But when those are out, then maybe Brown. But when these all are out, like Lona is still going to be considered, like regardless of this, right? But maybe they're going to still consider Lona over those, so. Monster cap damage nerfed on 65 at all levels. This will greatly decrease Lilia's clear speed. She's very stupid. And this one I'm really happy about. Sleep duration finally goes out to 2 seconds late at every rank. I think this ultimate is still really strong. But I truly do think that Lilia ult at level 16 is one of the best ultimates in the game. Like, there's so many games where I played where the game goes to like 40 minutes and then Lilia hits like 3-4 man ult in late game, which is not that hard when you use flash. And all of a sudden, the champions legit just don't move for half of the fight. Because champs are dying so fast in late game. Like, champions can get bursted so fast, depending on the team comp. And then this ability just makes the whole team comp just sleep, and then they all die. Like, it just makes no sense. This, like, 2.5 seconds was so OP. It was unreal. It's like an AoE Zoe bubble. You think Lux is a real champ? Not that much, I think, against good players. Lissandra loses 10% AP ratio on Q. I'm really sad about this one because honestly, the reason why I'm sad, I do think Lissandra is OP and probably needs a nerf, but the reason why I'm sad is because I was really curious to see if pros are going to realize whether Lissandra is good or not. Because, I mean, at least me playing EOS Challenger solo queue every day, literally nobody plays the champion besides me. I haven't seen any Lissandra play at all, like for the past, I don't know, 2 weeks. And it's crazy because honestly, it would really be surprised me if this champion would get unnoticed on at Worlds. I think this nerf just makes her like more of a situational pick. Situation is still good. Otherwise, yeah, you're probably not gonna blind her. You don't want to walk into like Orianna, Syndra, and all those like control mage matchups that are annoying for her. 2 damage on Lulu, Pixie, Pasu. Much better early game buff than late game buff. 2 damage is much better early game than late game because it's flat damage. Not much to say here. Certain ADCs are obviously good with Lulu, but right now with like the current meta, the only champion I can really see Lulu being paired with is maybe like Ashe. I just feel like based on what pros are playing in the meta, like Misfortune, Jean, and Ashe, if this stays on bot lane, then I just don't see how Lulu is gonna enter pro meta. This is like a solo queue buff. And I still think this buff is probably very small. Malphite 1% max health, yeah, cool. Pros are not gonna pick Malphite unless there's like really a good spot on like some R5 or something, they're not gonna pick him. Maokai, very needed nerf because this champion is gaining so much priority in jungle and maybe even support a little bit. Yeah, jungle Maokai is pretty absurd in pro and support Maokai is also occasionally viable. I mean, pretty good nerfs. Like, this ability is very OP. His Q, it's like a nuke. It's kind of like Poppy Q. It's just like a nuke and you buy no damage. And then E sapling toss, like that's nice, I guess. A little bit less saplings on the map. Maokai in pro is still mainly, I would say, I need to dodge. Maokai in pro is still mainly like a QW and ult type of champion, and I think E is still like probably the least important ability, but this ability still like plays into like vision role, right, in pro. Misfortune, 280 off Misfortune together with BT nerfs, looking like Misfortune could fall out of pro meta. What are pros gonna play when Misfortune is worse? They're probably gonna resort into Jean and Ashe, I would say, and maybe some mages, and if those are not, I would probably say the next champion that they're gonna probably pick up is Kai'Sa again. That one's still okay when you pair Kai'Sa with like Nautilus and whatever else, right? Team comes in pro. Nasus base E damage getting heavily nerfed. This is going to make Nasus only be like a counter pick type of champion where when you can afford to max Q, first ability. You're at max gonna put 2 points into this ability. I think 3 points are no longer worth, but even 2 points are not that good anymore. I think Nasus mid is probably not gonna see much pro play light at Worlds because of this, but I think top lane could still see Nasus occasionally. I know he's pretty good into like Cassandra. Ral also getting a nerf, although I would argue Ral nerf is also on the small side. She's losing some move speed, which does play a part sometimes. But if you think about pro play Ral, like pro play Ral will not get as many roams off necessarily and does not like use the E's fullest potential in the same way as you do in solo queue. You don't use this as often as you do in pro. In pro it's mostly just a waiting game and then you have flash up and you flash into the enemy team. I'm not saying this is not a nerf for pro, it is obviously, but I think it's still bigger for solo queue here. Still think pro should be playing Ral. I mean, this champion is just absurdly overpowered. Rumble, damage, gone, 10% AP ratio on Q. And 20 damage off rank 1 ability, so even worse early game. Rumble is starting to be like Azir treatment. He's starting to get Azir treatment, where his early game just continuously gets worse and worse. But then like at level 9 onwards, he's still kind of okay as a champion. And then E also loses 5 damage. Ooh, that's kind of small. Yeah, I mean, sure. I personally think Rumble is already on the downfall. I think pros are playing it less and less anyway. And yeah, they're probably going to be prioritizing different champions with this nerf in. Samira. Samira gets AD ratio, like total AD, right, on Q, which results in what, like 10 damage in laning phase. Like when she gets to 100 AD, it's 10 extra damage on this ability, if I understand correctly. So level 1, it's like what, like 8 more damage or something, or 7, something like that, right? And then, I don't know, like early laning phase is going to be like maybe 15 more damage on the ability, and then she reaches level 9, and then it's the same ability as before. So I would say pretty small buff. We're not going to see Samira in pro. Shen, I think this is a champ we could see. I think Shen is like fine jungler. I think he's also fine top laner, situationally. The champion can be good. You can also pair him with like globals, TF, Nocturne, whatever. I think this champion can be occasionally really good. I know there's so many OTPs right now that are doing so well in EU solo queue with this champion. I think, yeah, this champion could see play in pro. Like, this is a massive passive buff, and you have to understand that the passive of Shen already got buffed not too long ago, so I think Shen has like absurdly strong early game as a champion, like seriously. Smolder gets a really big nerf. So first of all, 30 HP nerf. We know this 30 HP nerf usually results a champion losing like, I don't know, 1% winners at least, like usually, right? Now, yeah, this champion does go grasp and does build a lot of HP, especially with Trinity and Sojin. So 30 HP nerf is probably not the same on this champion as it is on Ashe. Then we have Q nerf, 5 damage less on Q, so that's like a revert to a buff they did not too long ago. And then we have a W nerf too, so losing 5 damage on W. I would say pros also use W a lot in lane because they all go tier build. So like this W nerf doesn't affect me as much because I don't go tier and I play tierless Smolder and I don't use W a lot in lane. So 5 ability less on this ability doesn't matter that much to me. But these are nerfs that are going to impact me, and all these nerfs are going to impact pros as well. I would say there is still a decent chance we see Smolder because I feel like there's no good like options really to play for AD champions, and all these changes, all they do is like make Smolder worse early game. But when you watch pro play, Smolder gets through early game with like no problem. And I don't think this, I mean, I don't know, like there is like, it's so easy to just go grasp and ult the wave at 6 and buy tier and buy all these lane components like Ruby Crystal and just scale, and you still have excellent wave clear regardless of 5 damage nerf. Like, now that I see this, like to me, I still think the champ is going to be completely playable in pro. Like, you're probably not going to want to blind maybe, we'll see, but you still reach your stacks and then you're still OP, you know what I mean? Like, you get to mid game, and let's say you went fine in lane, you will get to mid game, you're still OP. Like what? You still have true damage. You still have a lot of damage, you're still Smolder, you're still Giga safe, you're still crazy scaler, like, this doesn't do much. Varus getting a much deserved nerf for lethality build. Lethality Varus is stupid. I'm a big hater of lethality Varus being in the game. One of the most stupid designs, personally. Like, truly, I truly think this is just so stupid that this champion is allowed to be played like this. I would really like this champion to be reworked. This is like one of the only ADCs where I truly think this champion needs a rework, but yeah. 100 bonus AD. E nerf, Q nerf. Yeah, lethality bars, much worse. Hopefully we'll not see it in pro. It makes the game so boring to watch too. Vi, 5 damage off, Q, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Viego, 3 plus AD, 5 less damage on Q and clear, doesn't really matter. But yeah, we're still gonna see Viego in pro. I already said multiple times, I think the top 4 AD junglers in the game are going to be Jarvan, Kha'Zix, Viego, and... who's the 4th one? Is it Xin, maybe? There's like one more I was thinking about that could be played. I don't remember right now. So this is also a Xin buff. Armor growth, bonus damage, like late game buffs for Xin. You don't max this ability first, maybe you max it second, maybe you max it last. These are just late game buffs. They don't do much in pro. Xin is not a good late game champion pro anyway. Zari, damage, down on passive a lot. I don't think we're gonna see Zari at Worlds at all. I really doubt it. I think this nerf is huge for laning phase in mid, huge for laning phase in top. I think it's huge for laning phase in bot lane. I think this champion is not very good anyway. All her items got nerfed. I think she's just not very good anymore. Ziggs passive gets headshotted. Ooh, so they only... okay, this is different. On PB, they wanted to nerf the base value of the passive as well. But now they only went with a nerf where it, like, the bonus increased the damage to structures. So this way, Ziggs passive is unaffected when you're fighting champions. But it is much worse when you are... yeah, when you're fighting towers. There's also like nerfs lane swapping and stuff in pro. Okay. Items. Bloodthirster gets a much needed nerf. Misfortune is really sad here. Yeah, ADCs late game are also sad. Like Smolder would buy this on 4th item and stuff like that. But you're still buying this item in late game. It's still going to be a good late game item regardless of this. But yeah, just not turbo OP anymore. Immortal Shield Bow gets a range nerf. Melee, for melee is still okay. For range champions really bad. I fully expect pros or just good players in general to not buy shield bow anymore on range characters. I think you would rather have either Trinity for being tanky, or you would rather have like BT or whatever else. Luden's Companion, 5 more AP, 5 less haste, 50 less gold. Fine. Doesn't really matter that much. I would argue a nerf in most cases, unless you're like LeBlanc or something, but fine. Shadow Flame, 5 less AP, 3 more Magic Pen, better Threshold, worse dot damage, that doesn't really matter. I think LeBlanc, Syndra, or Rihanna, any type of champion like that is really happy. Storm Surge, this could be a decent Syndra item. Magic Pen up, passive, move speed a little bit down, but it's way easier to proc the passive. And Syndra can proc this passive so easily, like QEW or QE will often just proc this passive on most champions. So I think this item could be pretty good on Syndra. I think it's better than Shadow Flame, but I think, for example, for Rihanna, Shadow Flame is probably better than Storm Surge. So Fleet, TLDR is the rune is going to be good on melee champions and still pretty dog shit on range champions. Turrets, fortification, up, lane swaps wars. Turret plating and bulwark, huge change for pro play, especially when 3 or more champions group onto the tower. And now the tower is going to get extra tanky, especially on top lane compared to bot lane. And then we have Aaron. Surrender time in Aram goes back to 8 minutes. Wow, guys! Crazy! And that's it. Bug fixes. Oh, that's arena bug fixes. New player experience changes? What is this? During the players rank, first new players might see bots in their non-ranked games. These bots will adapt to their skill. Okay. Players will only see these bots in the first few games of normal queues. Okay. Like, a lot of games do that the same, and I remember when I played Apex, it did the same thing, where like you played against bots the first few games. I think this is a good thing. Bug fixes. Okay. Upcoming skins. Cool. Alright. Cool.